for me, masculinity is not about your physical traits or the roles you play in a relationship, but yeah, the minute I discard what I've just discarded, what am I left with is what I'm trying to say. Because those are, as you said, you picture masculinity with just being a man, right? But there is no barricade or fence that says you
that
can't
should be the way.
Yes, that
I
should
think
be
the
the
reason
way.
we define things.
You've just stepped into An Empty Street, a podcast where we casually engage in difficult conversations about relationships, wealth, and health. We are just three curious gentlemen who ask questions almost about everything, and our aim is to find answers from others and within ourselves. We sit down every week to explore unaltered conversations. So let's walk the talk together, and welcome to the Empty Street Podcast.
In 3,
2, 1,
we're rolling. Welcome to the Empty Street Podcast.
we back.
Yeah,
Another
day,
one, man.
Yeah, man, another Tuesday, another week.
Yeah.
As I always say,
Yeah.
we're not walking alone and probably seeing a familiar face, so we'll let the familiar face just reintroduce himself. I don't know. Should we?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we? People
Yeah,
don't really
man,
know you.
Kamala Mulinda. I don't know what I said about me the last time, but yeah, this is Linda Ziqubu. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm still gonna call you Nhlanhla, nigga.
I like it.
Yeah,
All the
if-
luck.
if-
Let all the luck come.
Yeah. If you haven't watched the previous episode, just go and watch the previous episode where we had him. This conversation is just basically a follow-up of that conversation. So it's important that you go to that conversation. If you like that conversation, just click that like button. And if you're watching this conversation, it means that you are regularly hooked to our content. So just hit the subscribe button right there. Make love with it, baby. Yeah, man. We here.
Continue walking.
Yeah.
Continuous.
I don't know where to start. Dana, can you pave the way?
Yeah, I think last time we were talking about masculinity, and we were more spiritual about it, and we get to a point before we ended the episode. So we got to a point that we couldn't find the real definition of what a real man is or a man is.
What defines
What
masculinity?
defines masculinity? So I think we haven't covered that, especially on the practical part of it, because SK made an example that if maybe we have a boy that doesn't understand what is it, but how can we put it in a sense that he can understand? Even before we started this episode, he even made an example that for a person generally, so to understand, a society will view a man like this. Maybe see that this society or previous society, maybe can be in 80s.
Mfana.
Hey.
Kodwa kusebenzile la.
Mshaya,
Yo mfana.
Maybe during the times about 80s and see the society yamanje izwenza khona ukuthi even mawutshela umjida even omncane khona kumnika different yamanje ne different ya back then. The way maybe a man was viewed in this way, or this is what used to bring purpose, bring meaning to a man. You understand?
Yeah.
And also this is what was defined now. Okay, this is what bring man a meaning. Like this is what give a man a purpose currently. Understand? I think now we need to be more practical. Even my example is my example that someone can see isn't about we born on their daily life. So I don't know what now is now called take it as if there's someone that's watching you. They really want to know that, and they really want to understand themselves, because mostly now is actually you defining themselves. You understand? Ubaniki meaning so that they understand. Kon umuntu ongazazi nokuzazi. So at least back a practical example as well with at least some takeaway.
I think maybe I can go first. Like
Why nothing is said, Buffett?
no one said, you know,
No one
well,
said.
no say.
Nothing is said, Dan. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying things.
I think you probably might have been premature of you to say it now because
Yeah.
the conversation just started.
started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be
yeah.
premature. So if
Let's
you
get
let it
into it.
ride on, Besubon, because it
plus-
normally happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a slow takeoff.
Yeah.
Plain.
But then once it's
Eventually-
Tuesday.
Yeah, eventually
Just
you
chilling.
get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the conversation starts flowing. But I wanted to start off my conversation with, or this whole conversation by, I think SK mentioned something about, I think it was off camera, about how women are, not even women, but men are perceived now as compared to then.
Yeah.
The traditional men, Wakdala, let me put it that way, but La Wakdala were normally known as the providers, right?
Yeah.
So we ask Guti as a man or a guy, you're the one that wakes up in the morning, you go out to hustle,
Hunt.
you know,
Yeah.
you go hunt.
Yeah.
You know, if it was caveman days, you go out and hunt. You know, when they had to go looking for jobs, they had to come to HOS, City of Gold, to come find employment. You know, just to better off their families back at home.
Yeah.
That was what men were known for, like being providers. You know, there are still men that are still providers in this day and age. You know, they're still living in the traditional times still, but times have changed, and not everyone is expected. Not all men are now expected to be the sole providers anymore. So it's a dynamic where women are empowered and feel the load shouldn't only be on the man's shoulders anymore, right? So now they're sharing responsibilities, and now the responsibilities that were once women are also now the man's responsibilities. You know, like simple things like chores.
Yeah.
You know, it can be a simple thing like cleaning,
Yeah.
or washing the dishes, or taking care of the kid.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of things. We knew that when we were out working or fending for the family, they were at home either cleaning, cooking, or taking care of the kids. But those roles have now flipped, which redefines what masculinity is these days, and which is why we actually here trying to understand what now is a man without those. Because I think those are like titles and tags that we attach to being a man. And so I feel those kind of things have also kind of shifted that dynamic of what's okay. Masculinity comes with being this kind of person. You also mentioned being muscular. With the men were known, they did the heavy lifting, heavy duty work and all of that. So that's how they gained most of their muscle. It's not like they went to gym or anything like that.
Yeah, gym right now is just to replicate
what was
building.
back then.
Yeah.
But back then, that's not how they gained their muscle. It was from heavy duty work. So those kind of things, women would see that and be like, oh, naindo. You know, and now it goes to your head like, no, not the Meliwegash. Yeah, you know, so all of those kind of stuff
We're looking
also,
into it.
they also like kind of build into what masculinity was or is, you know. And in this day and age, we know that those roles have now flipped. Women go to the gym as masculine as you are.
Yeah.
You know, so your wife is no different to you. Your wife wakes up in the morning, bends over, not in that way, but bends over and gets money.
You had to use that phrase.
Yeah, you know, she bends over, gets work done, come home, feed the kids, and do everything that you once did.
Yeah.
So now what are you left with? To say good die.
This defines me
This
as
defines being masculine. Or
masculine.
or defines masculinity in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'll try and answer it like this in a short way. Let's say in an organization, we need leaders in an organization.
Yeah.
Say I have a company. Of course, I have to take leadership. What defines me as a leader? And then what defines you as an employee? For me, it's not a matter of power. I think power is where problems start. It's when I'm a leader because and I use my power against you, you are under me, and I make sure that you remember that you are under me and I'm on top. I think that's flawed. But true leadership is when you cannot walk into that company and you cannot even see who's the leader, but you can feel that there is guidance in the room and there is harmony in the room. So I'm taking it from there to family, where then there's a man and there's a woman. In that sense, there's a man and a woman in that sense, in a sense of this body, meaning this home. I call it a body now. Ne? This home has negative and positive, just like how the planet is balanced, how your cells as well balance themselves. There's negatives and there's positives. So in that, there's negative and positive. And then we come into a world of humans. What do we call that? Maybe the negative could be a woman. Negative doesn't mean bad. You know, it may mean space, and then positive, it means the actual stuff in space. So the positive would be the man, and the negative would be the woman. And so what we're working against is just to align these two to work for the common goal. What is it? To bring up children who are steady, who are faithful, who are loving, and not just to their who you are proud to say they are your sons or they are your daughters, you know.
So basically, the ultimate goal you're talking about of men and women when they are together, basically what you're explaining is the yin and yang, that balance. So the ultimate goal, our ultimate goal is to survive, or our ultimate purpose is to survive and replicate. So you've just counted a replication.
For sure. So it's also the quality of what you are replicating.
Of course, that's why we have mating strategies.
For sure. So, and this balance is not a balance of one who's incomplete without the other, but it's a balance of the home. The home is incomplete without you, but I'm complete with myself. Whether it's a woman who says this or a man, doesn't matter. The home is incomplete without you, my man or my woman, but I'm complete. So it's not someone who say I'm incomplete without you. They can't handle a home. If I die, what's going to happen to a home? It goes to ashes. What's going to happen to our finances? They go to ashes because they are incomplete without me. But then when you find two complete people, I don't need you. I love you, but I don't need you. Meaning I can't live without you. Right now, there's a common goal that we come together for, which is to bring up a family that is steady and contribute to society by building up people who are positive and who are out for the good and for love. And then we can even take it to the individual, where then the balance has to be with you and you. I think mostly abadala bebasitshela ukuthi don't rush into relationships and stuff like that. They knew this, that you need to find that balance within. You need to find a man within you, and you need to find a woman within you. And how do these two express in your daily actions and interactions with people? How can you work it better? Can you listen more?
So bringing it back to masculinity, then what would you then say would define a masculine, or I won't say masculine, but masculinity in itself? Because I hear everything you've said, man, but I'm still not getting a definition you would say defines what masculinity is in this day and age. What is your picture of masculinity in this day and age? In I would say in no more than 10 words. I'm challenging you. In no more than 10 words. It can be just words. It doesn't have to be a constructed sentence.
From which perspective?
Of a man's perspective.
From a
what
man's
you
perspective.
think? Yeah, in a man's perspective, what do you think masculinity is? Let's trim it down to 5 words, since we're not constructing a sentence. It can be just words. Now I'm challenging you, because you have sentences, you have paragraphs, you have a book of knowledge, but now I'm trying to challenge you to say just 5 words out of your book of knowledge.
A man is the role you
You see, now you
play.
done. Now you done.
Listen.
5 words.
But you cannot limit me like that. Like
No, that's why I'm
I
saying
know
5 words.
5 words.
You don't
Five
have
words
to
may mean
put
5
it in
words
a
may mean
sentence.
5 words may mean concise.
Yeah,
five-
but
like
words
5
can be
words.
descriptive. A word can be descriptive, though.
A man is
Don't see it as a limit,
man is
see
a
it as
body
a
that has a
challenge.
dick.
Hey, that's why I'm saying I'm challenging you. I'm not limiting you. I'm challenging you.
Okay.
Because we already
I mean-
know that you have a plethora of knowledge.
Sure.
But now I'm trimming that down to just you saying a man is this, that's this, that's
Okay, a
this,
man
on
is
your
a body.
perspective.
A man is a male body.
Okay.
Go on.
A man is a provider still.
Okay, provider, body,
Yeah.
That's two.
A man is a leader.
leader. It's harder this way, nah?
Nah, not at all.
But you're thinking more now than
But
you
he
were.
has to think. I think it's
Hey.
important for him to think.
He has to,
because-
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's a different way of thinking. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah. Go on.
So what else could I say? A man is sure, a man is a leader, bruh. A man is a visionary. We're pointing to the man now. He's a visionary, he's a seed. A man is an idea or the lord of ideas. Hence we point to the head when we say someone is a man. You're the leader, the head. But nowadays a man is a complete man, not just the head, but the tail too. So recognizing our feminine aspects too. That's what for me is a true man, then a complete man. But a man who's just this linear way, the way I'm putting it, is someone who needs a woman to complete them. And I've been that for most of my life. And I haven't seen it, but you have to step out of something for you to see it clearly.
See, this is why I was giving you 5 words.
No,
So
you are
question.
expecting something, and you are getting what you're expecting.
No,
That's what
I'm
the law
not.
of the universe
No, I'm
says.
not getting
I can feel your energy. You are waiting. he's
Question.
waiting. I can feel your energy, my
Question,
brother.
like from what you are saying. Masculinity is just loosely attached to a man, which is what you just explained of what a man is. When we say, yeah,
course not.
masculinity,
Of course not.
what do you mean?
5 words. I had 5 words. I had to come up with something, so I came up with something.
No, you're not getting me. I'm saying with you, usually.
It's not limited to a man.
Usually. I have a question.
Sure.
Listen.
Sure.
Usually, when you say masculinity, it will be loosely be translated to man. Meaning, when we say this person is okay, not muscular, but
I
when
get
we
what
talk
you mean.
about masculinity, we have a picture of a man
man,
in
yeah.
mind, right? And when we talk about femininity, we have a picture of a woman in mind, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, in this day and age today, does it matter in a household of a man and a woman? Does it matter ukuthi who's masculine or who's feminine? Or who's dominantly masculine and who's dominantly feminine?
That's just for
Does
discourse.
it matter?
That's just for discourse. Somebody who's doing this podcast, it matters to us right now in this conversation, right?
Yeah.
And it even comes up. But it doesn't matter to my body is how I'm sitting right now, how my blood, it flows. There's no one voice inside say go this way, go that way. So in a home, it's not articulated. It is an organic balance. It's intuitive, it's an organic thing. There's no one who says, okay, I'm a man, sit down here. Ne? I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. Those are the old times. But now you find it organically.
So the woman can be masculine and the man can be feminine.
Of course, the
and
woman is
that will
masculine.
work.
The woman is masculine. We are not saying the woman is without masculinity. And to use the word masculinity is different from using the word man. Masculinity is energy. Okay, that's why you couldn't come up with an example. You say, okay, you are masculine. not that. You are, okay, when we talk about masculinity, because it's energy, but when we talk about a man, we are being specific. Then we're talking about a male body. Okay, this is a male body. I cannot say a woman is a man. And it's quite odd for me also to say, even when you're a lesbian, that you are a man.
But
Because we both know, with all due respect, we both know
But we are
that
part of
we as a
mankind.
society,
So
we've
everybody is
agreed
man.
on a rule, just like time. We've agreed on rules. So same as gender, we agreed on rules.
So basically, we shouldn't agree to those rules, or we should dismiss those rules and
No,
say,
of course we are.
in this day and age, let's just take it away, Uguti, who can be masculine or who can be feminine, and just be. Do you
Okay.
think that's the best way we can take as the society
I think
to be
over time,
functional and
Over time, I think things changed because we're still battling complete households. There's households where there's a single parent. So the product of that household, that being the offspring, will either adopt, if it's a household where it's a mother present or if it's a father present, they'll obviously adopt more of those traits. So if it's a household where Itaima and there's a daughter involved, then that girl will grow up with more masculine traits. And not to say they will be absent of any femininity, but they will grow up with a whole lot more masculine traits.
be dominantly-
Yes. And then comes a boy who was raised by their mother, who will adopt more feminine traits. But when those two come together, it's not like it'll clash or anything, or it's like, the roles have changed or anything. No, the daughter still knows the roles of a woman, and the man still knows the roles of men. But because of how they were brought up, it's no longer a thing in which a man is the one that just goes out to work. Because they were raised by a woman and they know what women go through. So they already know to meet the woman halfway because they have obviously been raised in that kind of household. And it's not like it's forced upon them. It's second nature.
Yeah.
And then the woman comes in and it's not like now she's gonna just sit on the couch and wait with Bampage, adopting masculine traits. But it's a thing in which she also wants to be empowered. She's empowered. She wants to go there and strive and be someone who's considered in society. Those are the kind of traits that she adopts from her father figure or whatever the case is. So it's not like, we mentioned it earlier on, the yin and yang, and it's a conversation that's coming back again because we mentioned it even on the first episode about the two balancing each other. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to paint that picture based on what you were asking.
And the conversation we're having, basically, we are already a balanced feminine, masculine beings. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. My mother and my father had to come together and mix and bring out this mixture. So already in every woman and in every man, there's masculine traits and there's feminine traits. And we don't just take information from our parents. Early in our life, when we were still babes, we take this information from our parents energetically. And then as we grow, we are then socialized, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be socialized. It's a game we decided to play and it's fun, So you are then socialized into being a girl, into being like this type of development, into being a woman one day. But then inherent in you, it didn't just learn from your parents, but you learned from your teachers. You also saw masculinity in others.
Society.
Hence, even our ancestors say at this moment, you have been fathered by your friends too. You have been mothered by your girlfriend too. So hence we are not saying nothing is bad and nothing is good, but everything is significant in the path of our journey. So meaning we do have masculinity and femininity within ourselves. And hence we are still alive. I think if there were to be too much of imbalance within me, I'd be sick in some way. Because I've been raised by a woman, but I don't forget how to be a man. Why? I've been fathered by my friends. Sure. So a woman on her own is masculine and feminine. A woman with a man is still masculine and feminine. But a woman in a home, now we are making it specific, a woman in a home It's not that she's a tail, but I know which role I play organically. Back then it was decided, there's a book written maybe of the woman should behave this way in a home, and yes, even in our languages, how a woman should behave. That was back then, until we have found out that consciousness can never be limited, meaning we just have to be as spontaneous as we get. We have gathered in this family and we have this idea, and we don't know where we're going. Because honestly, we don't. And we're just gonna take it one step at a time, and organically, I'm gonna see your strengths. And some of your strengths as a woman may be very masculine, but how you approach them may not be really as I would approach them. And that's why they work. So in that sense, the power that I have shown is not just of doing, but of seeing the power in you. That's what a true man is. You see the strength in the woman too. You don't become strong by making them weak, because you understand you are complete. But an incomplete man would always want to dominate and be stronger than a woman, so they can feel, I'm a man here. Those are old times. But now, see the strength in them. And by doing that, you uplift the masculine in them, and they would in turn give you their seed, which is the feminine aspects that we need. More intuitive. Feel what you do to the other. You need to feel it. Feelings are what? A taboo to man. Right?
I guess that's what you are saying. Ne? So there will be this time as Ushuguti. Because figure, but as Ushuguti, being a man is not like maybe you get to a point like you want to be dominant, saying I'm the man.
But you're strong.
Oh, you're strong. You understand? But now there's this example, especially in retail, that always ask or make Uti. Let's say now Siava Epsug and Siava and there's Nabanda Basachekai. Ubani Muntemela. Then now it gets
say that again.
Okay, let's say Siava Epsug, then Nabanda Basachekai, right?
Are we only male, or
it's me and my woman?
Okay.
So now I have to stand firm and fight. You understand?
You don't have to do anything. They'll do something that you'll have to react to. I have an experience actually of that.
Yes,
I was working
yes,
with my woman.
Yeah.
And these guys came. They attacked the men first. Because first things first, they come contributing to the scene what? Physicality.
Sure,
and
sure.
who would you go to?
Yeah.
To the man.
Doesn't that say the man is more stronger than a woman?
So now my question now is, if now the way we are corner, even Nabuchiri Langapande, also I once saw the receiving lento there with singing in Mingam. There was this lady once said, he's a man. Someone that will make when once Magakulu hears this is the man that is speaking. You understand? Not just even saying with like understand that. But when he speaks, you can even feel it. Then if he iganja, that means there's something that is dominant in me.
It's not a general thing. Maybe one person sees things like that, and maybe they've been hurt somewhere, and this trauma now is speaking. I know it. Whatever that I say, Chance, know this. I say something from experience before I can actually have a right to say it, because I experience it first, and then I say, maybe this is what you are. But it's not every woman who sees men like that.
But now this is weird.
A woman who had a healthy father may have a different opinion from what you are saying. And say, I want a man who is not just strong physically, but who's dynamic, because we live in different times. Because my father is like that. He's not just physically strong, but dynamic, because he can even cook and be as tenderly as my mom, but be as strong as my dad I know him to be.
But now, Mauti check as Ukuluma, I'm a parent. Nowadays, most men, they are not really defined, or most parents, they no longer have impact in their life than society. And also, most men now, they're being defined by women. Women tell us, this is the real man. Even a woman is being raised by two parents, which is there is a father, there is a woman, or there is a woman only, or there is a father only. But to say I'm the man, I will only listen to the definition that the woman is telling me, because now we're trying to define or live our life to accommodate this woman. And now if you check the question of what define us, and we are being defined by women. You understand?
We allow it. You can say whatever you want to say.
You
understand it?
Let's try to bring it back into closing. We're down to 10.
Okay. Yeah. You can say whatever you want to say, but there's no law of accession. There's just law of attraction. Ne? I won't get into that. That's a different topic. Yeah. But you can say whatever you want to say. You can cast me in a role, but I still act that role. Yeah. I'm still the one who's doing the actions in that role. Sure. So whatever women say you are, at the end of the day, you are not a slave to woman. But if you are, then you'll take whatever they say to you, because there's something gold that you want from them, right?
Sure.
Yeah. I've been that slave too, whereby I wanted coochie so bad that I was willing to ignore red flags when you can see them so clearly.
Yeah.
Clear. You ain't feeling shit, nigga.
Yeah.
But you just going through with it because you just want to feel that slime.
Okay. You're a simp, nigga.
Nah, nigga.
But then in closing, for me, as ngishilo even ngayile ngisaqala episode iqala ukuthi now finally sikhulume to a point ukuthi intwana incane sibukele nje at the end of the day there must be a takeaway. Mela phume na something. Mela phume na azi ukuthi okay, this is me and the society, okay, meaning buwaka so, but I must remain like this. You understand? So I remember even with science through our chromosomes, there will be before you have a boy or a girl, there must be a chromosome that is dominant.
Yeah, for sure.
You understand?
For sure.
So at the end of the day, that really tells you what it's either you have a femininity in you or a masculine. But then end of the day, I feel like if you're a guy or a man, at the end of the day, masculine should be dominant in you. That should be dominant. That's according to me, because that really defines you as a man. If you know, check his intensity.
So are you saying it must be dominant in relation to femininity, or it must just be dominant? Because as well, femininity can just be dominant.
Yes.
Are you saying it in terms of higher than this, or just high?
Higher than
you
this.
mean
higher than this?
Yeah. Higher than this.
It gives a perspective that anything that's feminine around me, I need to be higher than it.
No, it's not. It's like
no, ideas merge. They are interrelated, and we are not always conscious about our decisions when we make them. It's quick. Yeah. We are in a society. You're dealing with a woman who is this and who's behaving like this, and you have a feminine side that can be receptive to them, understanding maybe where they come from, or intuitively saying maybe they did not have a wonderful day. But a masculine dominance like that would be reactive to, I want to get my throne because that's what is dominant in me. So let me take my throne.
I feel like you speak of war instead. This is not war.
Yeah, but it's war within you if masculinity is dominant than femininity.
It's dominant doesn't mean that I do not acknowledge. Sure. Yes, we still remember that if it's Kulisa Mama, we still have the feminine in us. I understand. We're not saying okay, but at the end of the day, you need to realize if now we're saying when you understand. If you think fast, why you think fast if you have both? Because you need to understand we have your own role to play. That means if you play your role, that means masculine is dominant in you. They know what okay.
I think what he's saying, he's not saying Guti. By him saying Guti, masculinity should be more dominant than femininity in you. He doesn't mean outside you should see whoever is feminine like below you.
Yes.
But internal within, so that you operate more masculine than feminine.
No,
because that's what we see out here. Guys who operate on their femininity are called simps. They are the good guys. They are the guys in friend zones. But you see the guys that are operating from their masculine side. Those are the guys that get banged in clubs at night. Those are the guys that girlfriends have crushes to. So I think that's what he's saying.
I hear that, But what I think you want to mean, and I'm not imposing any idea on you, you can take it or leave it. It's what you're trying to mean is masculinity must be as dominant as femininity instead of dominant done, because that's a view of separation, like you have said right now, inside you but not out there, meaning the inside and the outside are separated. Back into the Adam and Eve separation, go there, I'll go there, God. But to realize that my thoughts have an impact on the outside, my feelings have an impact on the world. Because what are my feelings?
Okay, did you finish wrapping up?
So I can say this one last thing to boys, young boys, from my experience. My creativity has been tainted by masturbation and fantasizing about getting off, and whatever girl that I get is gonna be my getting off. But back then it was love. I'm like, I love her. But I did not know what's the difference between love and lust. What I can say is there is a connection between your seed and your idea and your creativity. Protect your seed. See what it can do. If it can make a child, what can it do for you, to you, through you? Sure.
No?
Nah, I've said a mouthful, yeah. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
it's-
Your last words, man.
Nah,
Your last words, man.
I think if I had to say my last words, I would try to define what I see masculinity being in this day and age. You know, you've defined it as simps. You've defined it in your own terms as well. But for me, if you're masculine, we already touched on it not being about the physical, but more of the whole conversation about roles is obviously non-existent now because we share roles these days, you know. But how do you even tie down the definition of masculinity?
Yep. Try. it's I think
I think we can understand more of masculinity and femininity if we can understand more of our hormonal patterns. If we understand testosterone, if we understand estrogen.
Yeah. Energy. For me, it's just going to the basics. Energy.
Because
energy.
if we're gonna say that we all are in balance, we all have masculinity and femininity within us, basically that means we both have estrogen and testosterone in us at a balanced level. But that would mean that now we are discarding each and every studies that were made on our bodies. Uguti, if you are born with a dick and they measure your hormonal levels, they will find that your testosterone is higher than your estrogen. Same applies with the female.
You look at the whole Caster Semenya thing.
So those are exceptions, and an exception is not a rule.
Or maybe we are parting ways in terms of the definition of what balance is. For me, balance is not a stable thing that is concrete like this. Balance.
It's a complement.
It is a walking. Walking is not a balance, but a balancing. So there's constant motion within you. Nothing stops. Your blood keeps on moving. Your cells keep on breaking and doing whatever. We have read many things. Well, I've read short things about that. I know just a little bit. That your cells are constantly dying and being reborn every day. Or every second or every minute. I'm just not sure about the information. But there's constant movement. So it's not a balance. As in, this is final, but it's a balancing because everything is energy, it moves, changes. So everyone is like that. There's no one thing, anxiety, this is higher than this. Maybe a doctor can, I'm not a doctor.
Finish wrapping up?
Yeah. Oh, actually, you cut me short, and I think I was still explaining something, then you jumped in, eh?
Yeah, skis much.
Yeah, no stress. Fuck. Now I've lost that train of thought. But just to sum it up, for me, masculinity is not about your physical traits or the roles you play in a relationship, but Yeah, the minute I discard what I've just discarded, what am I left with is what I'm trying to say. Because those are, as you said, you picture masculinity with just being a man, right? But there is no barricade or fence that says you
That
can't
should be the way.
Yes, that
I
should
think
be
the
the
reason
way.
we define things as human beings is just so we can.
Just draw a picture.
Yeah.
And I think that's also to our own detriment because it now puts you
Yeah,
in
of course.
it
Of
puts
course.
you in a pigeonhole.
Because nowadays there are
Pronouns.
people who get born biologically. We can see this is a male,
Yeah.
but on a later stage they feel like
Finds
they
out
are
it's
a woman
different, yeah.
trapped in that
Because of chemical
that body.
imbalances.
So like it's
It's
detrimental.
getting harder
Yeah,
and
yeah.
harder to define masculinity, I would say.
Yeah.
I'll end it that way. It's
Yeah.
getting harder and harder to define masculinity, especially with all these new things that come.
Last words?
Last words, for me, I think there is, this is a nice process, exploration, because I don't think we'll ever get to a point where we're like, yeah, this is masculinity. But the exploration in itself is the job, it's the work. I think we need to then get a working definition. It gives it a processing rather than a definition. A working definition that is always tested where it's rooted, and if it's shaken for any reason, it changes into something else. I think that's how our society was built, and that's how it's continuing to evolve.
Mr. Kalip,
Yeah.
what are your last words?
I think we should make decisions and act in a way that empowers who we really feel like we are. For instance, it would make sense for me to be a provider in my household because, for instance, the woman that I'm with might fall pregnant and I can't expect them to step out and still go to work, so it only makes sense for me.
Which is practical.
So meaning, yeah?
I'm saying which is practical, would make more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would make more
And
sense.
so we shouldn't discard our biological natures. If it makes sense to say nurturing is a female thing, it would make sense. We cannot now say, yeah, a man can also be a nurturer. Okay, sure. But who's in close contact with that kid ukuthi afidiwe? That's like automatically nurturing itself.
I think that's a specific. For me, when you say that, it gets to the specifics that you were talking about.
Those are
like
the
now,
specifics I wish that I still wish.
Yeah,
we
you would
spoke
say
about
to
those
that, what's a
specifics.
baby to a boy? A baby may be an idea, I want to write a song. That's that baby. Can you nurture that song, and how do you nurture that song? In that area, they are nurturers. Because then we take nurturing and not limit it to any specificity, but we see it as something that is workable in dynamic ways. Meaning you can see it now. How do you nurture your song, your talent?
Yeah.
And then
Before I lose
that
my
can
train of
grow
thought,
into
man.
something else.
Before I lose my train
Sure.
of thought, with the example I was making, Guti, it's natural for me to be a provider in that instance. Meaning that I should also account for masculine traits versus feminine traits. It means that if I'm a provider, I should adopt more to the masculine traits. For instance, one of the feminine traits a study was made. Apparently women experience negative feelings way more than guys. Meaning that if ever I adopt to be feminine, I say, I can be feminine, I'm a man. I won't bottle myself to be masculine and show myself I'm strong. But if ever I'm feminine, it means that I should also adopt to those traits. And those traits involve I should be experiencing those negative feelings. And what does that do? If I'm experiencing negative feelings and I'm saying I should provide for my family, it means that if ever I'm working on this goal, or on this project to make it work. If I fail, I'm likely to give up. And that means that I'm gonna compromise my family there because I'm experiencing negative feelings. I fail once and I'm like, maybe I'm not meant for this.
For a man who's
God doesn't
completed
love
by
me.
the other woman.
God doesn't see me. So now that's me tapping into my feminine traits. But if ever I'm masculine, I'm gonna be like, yeah, fuck that shit. I'm a man. Let me get up and work. Some people see it as toxic.
That's true.
So for me, that is the difference between femininity and masculinity. So what I could tell guys out there, I won't prescribe a way for you to live. As I started with it, tap more into what's gonna you feel like is gonna empower you. Be more of that in relation with other people around you. But I just want to tell guys that if you want to be the best version of yourself, be stoic. Just look out Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Understand people. Understand power. Understand psychology. Understand the other gender. Understand females. Don't be like, yeah, women are like this. Women should stay there because she's a woman. Don't do those things. Understand how other people work. But yeah, I could say a lot on this subject, and I think we can continue this conversation, gents. Off cam and in the comment down below. But as we always say,
Take care of yourselves,
take care of each other, and take care of your pockets. This is the Empty Sheet Podcast, and we signing out. Thanks, man.
Yeah, bro.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it.